Well, hello, ladies and
Notification
gentlemen.
volume set to 0%.
Oh, excuse me. Let me turn my volume down.
Lens Y button. Stop recording button.
Okay, anyway. Today's video, I've already done a review of this product, but you know something, I really did not go as far into depth as I would have liked to in that video, so I'm really hoping this is a better video. But this is about the PS Audio Power Plant Premiere. And what an amazing, incredible, beautiful piece of equipment this is. And let me get a little closer here. I'm gonna drag my chair forward. And in order to understand what this is, you need to understand how important power is and what it does for everything that you use. Obviously, anything that uses AC power is susceptible to what is wrong with AC power. AC power is filthy. It is shared by you and all of your neighbors, and absolutely everything that you have a transformer, that plugs into the wall. But basically, everything you have has a transformer, right? So the reason why is because Tesla won out when it came to getting power to your home. Tesla did not win out when it came to what is in your home. The reason why is because DC is direct. It will do exactly what you need it to do, no more, no less. AC is not. It's not exact, and it's not corrected and rectified enough for your pieces of equipment to use it. Okay? So absolutely everything inside of your home that you plug into an AC outlet converts that power to DC by a transformer and other associated pieces of electrical componentry. Okay? So, what does that mean for you? Well, what it means is that if that power is not clean, you will not get the absolute best out of that power. The power going to everything else but this thing is filthy in here. Nasty. Right? Because I'm sharing power with everybody. Right? But this is where it's important. Audio, video, stuff like that, very important to have clean AC. This is not a power conditioner, so let's get into that difference. A power conditioner takes AC from your wall and it converts it to DC, and that's okay. Because every time you do a conversion like that, you clean a little bit of the noise from the wall off, right? But your equipment does that anyway, so it doesn't do too much. If anything else, it doesn't help at all. Why? Because your equipment was not designed to run on DC. It already converts to DC, as we discussed, right? Therefore, plugging your receiver, like my receiver down here, okay, into DC would rob it of dynamic range and dynamic power. Excuse me. Why would it do that? AC is a living, fluctuating waveform. Okay? It's not steady. If it were steady, the resistance from copper would swallow it alive, and there would be nothing on the other side. Okay? So, in obviously a conditioner, that DC that's been amplified a little bit goes out to your equipment, but it doesn't help the problems of, fluctuating voltage and dynamic range loss and all this other stuff. If anything else, it actually compresses the bandwidth further because now your equipment is trying to take DC and convert it to DC. See what I mean? Which doesn't work out very good. It cleans the noise floor. So some people swear they hear a difference because it cleans the noise floor. And I've owned a power conditioner. It makes a little bit of a difference on the noise floor. But it doesn't do much for dynamic range. It doesn't make your TV look better. It doesn't make your audio sound better. It really just does not do what you paid for it to do. So there's just not much of a point. Now with the PS Audio Power Plant here, and let's talk about another brief difference between this and say something like a plug strip. Okay. Oh, plug strip is fine. It's what? Parallel. So it parallels a bunch of sockets. What this does is basically drops the amperage every single time that you do that and dishes out power to all of these things so that the voltage remains constant, but the amps do not. That means that your amplifier now has to work way harder to get dynamic effects to work. And the result is that they don't work, right? Same with a power conditioner, except a power conditioner does usually have an amplifier in it. A lot of them are active. So they give you a little more power, right? Which is good because you have the amperage to pull from, but you don't have the dynamic range. It still limits the range. Anyway, with this, what happens is you have your AC to DC conversion, which takes place in the unit. But as I said, like everything does, it's essentially a big single frequency power amplifier. So yeah, it takes that and it converts it to DC. Then it re-inverts to AC. So it's a converter and an inverter built into one box. You've seen an inverter in your car. It's what takes DC and turns it to AC, like in big trucks and things like that. Okay, so that's essentially what this is. Now you've got twice cleaned power, double clean power. Okay, so you've taken that, converted, inverted. You've got all the amps you need because this is a huge power amplifier, 1500 watts peak worth of single frequency amplifier. So you've got tons of amps. And you've got living, breathing, dynamic AC that can give you all of the bandwidth, all of the dynamic range, and all the amps. So now when you hear cymbal snaps, when you hear subtle, beautiful little things like someone using a fan on snare, okay, a percussionist uses a little metal fan on the snare or on cymbals, it just sizzles and it rings like it should. Things that usually get lost, such as acoustic information, bass that backflows from the walls, and just the sense of size in a room that was being recorded is there in the recording. Just 9 times out of 10, you don't hear it. Just sounds like a recording, So to some extent, you can get a general idea. But this really opens that up and gives you a huge understanding of the acoustic space in which your favorite artist was in when they recorded the music. Likewise, in movies, explosions and bass notes and things are more powerful. They're sharper. They're clearer. They ring on if they were supposed to. So it just sounds better. It's way better. And I love this unit, so I'm glad I was able to do another video on it, and that I was able to get another one because I found one and I thought, man, I love the Powerplant Premier. I do. It's a great piece of equipment, and I found it used. It's wonderful. What I like about this one is that it's mainly analog, so it doesn't do much that's digital, really. It does perform something called clean wave, which takes little amplitude bubbles and sends them through your equipment to degauss anything that is attached to it. And so everything that you run that's electronic obviously builds up EM type residue, information in there that stays, like say in speakers, voice coils, capacitors, transformers, resistors, transistors, blah, 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 blah. List goes on, right? It is so strange because when this is activated, you can hear the soundstage clear up and open up. It is really a beautiful thing to use every once in a while. So I like it. It also has multi-wave, which refreshes the electrical sine wave to keep it to keep it from being pulled. So obviously every single time your bass hits, it's going to pull from that. Every time a loud cymbal snap or a big bright explosion on your screen, it's going to pull, right? And so this pushes back and says, okay, no, you're not gonna pull. It's not gonna do, it's not gonna have the kind of ripple voltage. So it pushes back against the ripple voltage. But some of the major things, about this are, one, noise floor reduction. I mean, the noise floor reduction is way high. So this will take really the grit and the nasty off of what comes from the wall and really clean up the signal so that you can hear the environments, and you can hear after notes from guitars, and you can hear a drum's resonance, when someone hits a drum and it boom, you can feel it. That's really what something like this does. Is it a sound amplifier? No. What does it do? It takes your power and it cleans it. The AC power from the wall that everything you're using in your system uses. And it's a beautiful unit. I highly suggest you pick one of these up. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it as always. And thank you. I'll talk to you later in the next video.